Okay, so let us come to the subject now. So, what exactly the different things which you are going to learn in your subject here in surveying? So, the first module in surveying, you are going to have the introduction about the subject. So, definition of the subject, I mean surveying, you are going to learn. Then objectives, what exactly is the importance of surveying, classification and principle. Then units of measurement. So like as I have told you, surveying is all about measuring. So you are going to learn about the surveying measurements and yeah. So surveying has got different modules. So the first module is definition of surveying. Then we are going to learn objectives, then importance of surveying, then classification and principles of surveying. So then you are going to learn about measurements. Uh, then these measurements are actually the one which you are going to use for your next unit, that is horizontal distances measurement. Then you are going to learn about precision and accuracy. Then we are going to learn about the maps, what exactly are the maps and how we classify them, then the scale, how it is adopted for maps, then the symbols, whenever you read a map, how exactly the maps are read, that you are going to learn in this, because there are symbols to be used for different things. Like if I have to show a tree, how I am going to show it. If there is a river flowing, that is the stream, if I have to show, then how it is shown. Then the different earth features like roads, canals and buildings, how they are being shown in the map. So that is all the part of conventional symbols. And topographic map, what exactly mean by topography map, map layout. Then survey of India map numbering system. So how map numbering system is adopted in India. So how the whole country is divided into number of sections, and then each section is further divided into subsections. So there are things which you are going to understand how the mapping is done for the entire country. Then in the same module you are going to learn about the measurement of horizontal distances. So in this unit you are going to learn about the distance measuring devices, how exactly the distance is being measured, and ways or techniques of measuring the horizontal distances you are going to learn here. So here in this you are going to learn about measuring tape and the types of tape. So in the same chapter earlier you had the chain. Earlier, before tape is being invented or being used for the measurement, so we used to have the chains. So there are different types of chains being used for measuring. So chains are being nowadays obsolete because we are using tape now, and even for larger construction, so even the tapes are not being used. There are sufficient no, sophisticated equipment we have, like total station, where distance can be measured at any length you want, and tapes have restriction like a 30-meter length, that is the maximum length what you can measure, and number of times you need to measure the distance, whereas total station can give you the entire length in a single stretch and with a very great accuracy. So tapes may have the defects, but the equipment like total station cannot have any defects in it. So you are going to learn about that equipment also, which I am mentioning here, that is total station. So first you are going to know conventional way of measuring the distances, like using tape. So how the tape is being used, like how the tape is unfolded first, and how the tape is stretched, how the tape is held, how the tape is numbered, and how the distances are, I mean how the tape is being stretched between 2 points, how to hold that, and then how to read the number, and how to fold the tape after using it. So there are different ways or different techniques are applied into this. So this is the basic civil engineering work what you need to know. Once you become civil engineer, it is not like that you are going to do all these works, but at a place where you may have to work on this also. And when you have some helpers who will be holding the tape for you whenever measurement is required, then definitely you should know how tape is being held, so that you can guide that person who is going to help you in measuring. So it is not that you are not doing it and that is the reason why you are not going to learn that. Even the work which you are going to get that from the laborers, from the groundies or from the masons, you are going to know that. So even the brick, how it is being laid, so how exactly the walls are being constructed, that you are going to actually perform and learn, so that when you start being a civil engineer, then you start taking up some work, construction work, then the person who is doing that, you should know whether he is doing it correctly or not. So that is the reason why every step is very important. So that is the reason why I have told you third semester and fourth semester are the basic things what you need to learn from that. So here you are going to know how the measurement is done. To make yourself comfortable, I always insist my students in third semester that I generally ask them to have one tape with them. Always carry that with your bag. And whenever a chance is given to you, whenever you get a chance, definitely you should open your tape and start measuring the distances. You can start with your own house itself. Take a tape, then start measuring your bedroom size, your hall size, your kitchen size, and all. Then start drawing it in the piece of paper. Then you should know even how thick the wall is. So even the wall thickness can be measured. Then that can be considered even while drawing that house plan. So do that. Do that as an assignment. Do that as an activity for you people. Take up a tape and start measuring your house, and then start doing civil engineering. Then measurement, definitely if I have to measure the distance between 2 points, definitely I have to take up tape. I have to know from which point I need to start and at which point I need to end that. So there is a procedure for that. So that procedure you are going to learn here. Then if the ground is horizontal ground or a level ground, then how the distance is measured. And if the ground is a sloping ground, then how the distance is measured. That you are going to understand in this particular unit. And while measuring the distances, you may come across some of the errors or the corrections to be applied to the measurement done. Corrections in the sense what wrongly entered data into your measurement book, or you understood that the tape you have held is incorrect. Instead of the one point which where you are supposed to hold your tape, you have held it at a different point. Or sometimes you have stretched your tape very with a very high amount of force, that the tape itself has got elongated, or the tape when you are holding for measurement might be sagging. Sometimes you may have to hold the tape at some height from the ground. If you are holding the tape on the ground, then there is no worry. But if there is some height at which you are holding your tape, then definitely there may be a sag formation, and such a length may give you a larger length than the actual length. So actual length will be smaller, but when you measure, you make it a higher length because of sagging of tape, right? So here you are going to learn about ranging also. Ranging means having some more intermediate points in between the end points. For an example, if I have to measure 100-meter length and if I have only 30-meter tape, so with the 30-meter tape, how can I measure 100-meter length? So in such case, what you can do is you can always have number of times where you are going to measure the length. So you might have gone through such a stage in your school geometry. Geometry book, whenever the length exceeds 15 centimeter, so the maximum length what you have for your scale is 15 centimeter. And imagine if you want to draw 20 centimeter line. So 20 centimeter line, if I have to draw with such a small scale, then I have to use it twice. I need to refer some point in between the end point. So this particular thing what you are actually doing in paper is called as ranging in actual field in surveying, because ranging is done in the field, not in paper. So in the field you have two end points and you want to measure the distance between them, and but the length of the tape available is only 30 meters. So in such case what you can do, you can hardly have the measurement done with the help of one more intermediate point, which is as a reference point for us, so that you measure the distance along the straight line. Remember, the length or the measurement between 2 points should always be a straight line length, the shortest one, the straight line length. So if I have to measure it along the straight line, I need to know that what is my straight line. So to do all these things, you have something called the ranging. Then you have got electronic distance measurement. So that is generally called as EDM. So here you are going to know how the distances are being measured with the help of some electronic measurement distances. I mean electronically measuring devices. Then you are going to learn about EDM basic principle. Then how the work, which work you carry out, survey work is being recorded, that is booking of tape survey work. Then field book, how it is entered in field book. Then the symbols for entering. Then if at all if you are measuring distances and then you come across some of the obstacles. Obstacles may be anything. Obstacles in the sense hurdles. If I start measuring distances and in between I have a river, or if I have a pond, so how to continue measuring distances when you have an obstacle like this? And you started measuring the distances, and in between you found that you have a building, and how to overcome that. So such obstacle when you have in the tape measurement, how I am going to measure the distance. So that is what you are going to learn here. Then you are going to solve some of the problems on tape corrections and obstacles, so that whatever you have learned can be easily understood for you. So whenever problems are being solved, it will be easy for you to understand a particular topic. So module 1 is to make you understand what is surveying, and how the distances are measured with what equipment, what is that equipment, and how measurement is done, and how it is recorded. So this is what you are going to learn in your first module. In the second module, you are going to learn about measurement of direction. So here the distances are being measured in the first module, and in the second module the angles are being measured. Measurement of direction and angles. Direction definitely is very important for civil engineer, because you might have always seen, if you have seen any of the building plans, at the corner of any building plan you might have seen there is a small symbol made, and N is written there. What exactly that means is it is actually showing where the north is in the field, right? So north direction is very important for civil engineers. Why only north is important for civil engineers? There is nothing hard and fast rule that only north is important. North, once one of the direction is known to us, other direction can be easily found out. So if I say that north is on the top side, then automatically I will be knowing that on the right side I have east, on the left side I have west, and on the down side I have south. So one direction will help you to know other direction. That is the reason only one direction is being shown in the plan. And why only north is shown is because we use compass. As a civil engineer, we should use compass. So compass means it is like a needle, magnetic needle. So you have studied magnetic needle in your school days. Magnetic needle, whenever you suspend it, it always stand in the direction of north south. It will have its orientation towards north south direction. So that is the reason why we always depend upon north direction, because we are going to use compass, and compass has got magnetic needle, and magnetic needle will have its orientation along north direction. So north south is the area on which you generally depend upon. So whenever you find any plan, you might generally see north direction being written. So even during construction, you should always have the idea, I mean planning. When I have to plan my building, I should take care of the direction, because you generally know that the building are nowadays are being constructed according to Vastu. So Vastu is one important parameter which everyone is looking after. So every building has to have some Vastu there. So Vastu in the sense what, where I'm going to have my kitchen, where I'm going to have my bedroom, where I'm going to have the entry of my building, where I'm going to have the water tank, where I'm going to have the bathroom. So all these things have some specific places. So generally, for example, if I have to give you, so kitchen is always constructed in southeast direction, Agneya. So kitchen direction is always southeast. So there is a reason, because the wind either blows from west to east or from north to south, right? So if it changes its direction, like from east to west, if it start entering, I mean if air direction changes to east to west, then air will start entering into your building.